On our previous episode, we talked about the railway line that became the rail corridor, which operated for a good 80 years before its landmark closure in 2011.
But if you look at this old map of Singapore, there seems to be another line that branched out from here and went all the way down to the ports of Jurong.
What? If you haven't heard of such a train line, you are not alone, because it was never meant for passengers like you and me. So, what was it built for?
Cargo.
In the 60s, Jurong was being developed into an industrial district, but there wasn't a lot of roads around that area. Singapore and Malaya were becoming best buddies at that time. So, they decided that the most efficient way to transport goods from Jurong to Malaya was to build a dedicated freight line that would link Jurong to the Tanjong Pagar Line via a junction near Bukit Timah Station. Construction of the line started in 1963 before officially opening in 1966. Unfortunately, the year before it opened, something terrible happened to their buddy ship. If you don't remember what it was, pause the video, go back and watch part 1 again. Still with us? With Singapore now separated from Malaysia, the demand for the Jurong line to exist purely for cargo slowly diminished from just getting started to zip.
Also, road infrastructure was getting a lot better in Singapore, so much so that it became more efficient to just drive a lorry on the expressway. There were even suggestions to have passenger service on the line, but that never happened.
Usage of the line dwindled and dwindled until it was quietly closed in the 1990s. There was no grand ceremony like how Tanjong Pagar station closed. It was sort of abandoned and forgotten. But what makes this line more fascinating than the Tanjong Pagar line is that its remnants remain virtually untouched.
While most of the remnants of the rail corridor are polished reconstructions and restorations, the ones on the Jurong line are truly abandoned, left to their own devices for the last 3 decades. So these rusty tracks here, you can be pretty sure they are original.
Even with this rusty old bridge, you can tell that it's original. But with new plans for an extended rail corridor, maybe not for much longer.
Not everything on the line is original though. For example, in this tunnel underneath Clementi Road, this corrugated iron lining is actually a replacement.
And there are some cases where there's almost no trace of the railway at all. It took ages for our director to verify that that park connector bridge near the AYE was actually a railway crossing on the Jurong line, with its original parts being the beam and the pillars underneath it.
And yeah, that's all we can really say about the Jurong Railway Line. Admittedly, its backstory is less iconic than the Tanjong Pagar line, but its remnants are arguably more exciting to explore. But in a somewhat depressing sense, these railway remnants are a reminder of the impressive cross-border rail network we used to have, now either lost to nature, built over, or preserved in some way, shape or form. Everything except a dang proper functioning train network!
Whoa, calm down, Aaron. Don't fret. If you still want to take the train to Malaysia, there are still new exciting cross-border rail projects to look forward to. I am at the Woodlands North MRT station, and it's the top end of the Thomson East Coast Line. Here is so ulu, but this station is so big. Why? This is because under construction behind me is the RTS Link, a new light rail that connects Woodlands North MRT to Bukit Timah Station in JB. But the sad thing is, if that opens, this railway might have to go. And it will truly be the end of KTM railways in Singapore.
And then there's the KL Singapore High-Speed Rail project. Heck, we've even made room in Jurong to get ready for it. That's still happening, right?
Right? Really? Again? Because of that fella? Why?
Oh well. Anyway, while we can lament the extensive cross-border railways that we no longer have, while waiting for the new ones that are still years, if not decades away from completion, it's nice to know that there are at least some remnants of the old railways that we can still explore. Train streets are almost non-existent in Singapore these days, and MRT tracks are obviously out of bounds to the public. Unless your train breaks down, So finding abandoned railway tracks like this and the fact that you can actually walk on and touch it has fascinated explorers all around the country.
So the next time you take a hike along the rail corridor or find weird railway tracks around Jurong and Clementi, you will remember that yes, there was a time that Singapore had choo-choo trains. But for now though, it's time to take the train home. All aboard!
Oi! Wrong train lah!
Oh.
It is that one!
A huge thanks to our producer tier contributors on Indiegogo: Wei Heng, Edgar Yeo, Glenn Sim, Kopi C, Wei Liang Lee 87, Pai Jia Long, and Sandy and Justian Pratama.